Welcome to Ripe News, your reliable source for the latest informed news updates. In our top stories today, Trump attributes the deadly plane crash in D.C. to diversity hiring as investigations get underway. Subscribe to Ripe News for you to receive intriguing stories that impact the world around you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for comprehensive world news coverage. While the country dealt with the most devastating aviation disaster in over 20 years, President Donald Trump on Thursday unfoundedly accused diversity programs of compromising air safety and raised questions about the actions of a U.S. Army helicopter pilot connected to the mid-air collision with a passenger jet. 67 individuals are thought to have perished in the crash that happened on Wednesday evening while a flight from Wichita, Kansas, was approaching Washington Reagan National Airport for landing. While Trump spoke, the federal investigation was just starting, and emergency responders were still in the process of recovering bodies from the Potomac River. Authorities have not yet officially determined the causes of the accident, and Trump himself recognized that it was premature to make any conclusions as he urged the nation to pray for the victims. However, he quickly shifted to engaging in speculation and political criticisms, at a time when Americans typically seek comfort, reassurance, and information from the presidency. Certain highly unfortunate events occurred, along with matters that should never have taken place, the Republican president stated from the White House press room, located just over 3 miles, or 5 kilometers, away from the site of the tragedy. As the country grappled with the most catastrophic aviation incident in over 20 years, President Donald Trump on Thursday unfoundedly attributed the decline in air safety to diversity programs. A mid-air collision resulted in the deaths of 67 individuals, marking the worst air disaster in the United States in nearly a quarter of a century. Trump held the former President Joe Biden's administration responsible for pushing the Federal Aviation Administration to hire individuals who experience significant intellectual disabilities. Under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative, individuals with psychiatric issues and various mental and physical ailments were considered for employment. He mentioned that the program enabled the recruitment of individuals with hearing and vision impairments, as well as those affected by paralysis, epilepsy, and dwarfism. Trump did not provide any proof that unqualified individuals were being placed in crucial roles such as air traffic control, and he admitted there was currently no evidence that air traffic controllers at Reagan National Airport had made any errors. When asked why he was attributing blame to diversity initiatives, Trump responded, "Because I have common sense, and unfortunately, many people do not." Trump emphasized that air traffic controllers must possess exceptional intellect to guarantee safety. They must be extraordinarily talented, naturally gifted geniuses, he stated. You can't have ordinary individuals performing their duties. Trump specifically criticized Pete Buttigieg, who served as Biden's transportation secretary and was a potential rival for Trump in the 2020 presidential race, labeling him a disaster. He's completely destroyed it with his focus on diversity, Trump mentioned, using profanity in his characterization of Buttigieg. Buttigieg reacted on X, calling Trump's remarks despicable. As families mourn, Trump ought to be leading instead of lying, he remarked. To emphasize Trump's claim, the White House permitted journalists into the Oval Office to witness him sign another executive order that officials stated would eliminate woke policies in federal aviation. Trump had previously signed an executive order last week putting an end to diversity initiatives at the FAA. President Donald Trump claims that the aviation safety presidential memorandum he signed will repair the damage the Biden administration inflicted on federal agencies. He also intensified his claims that the crash may have been caused by incompetence. Trump declared, "We want the most capable individuals. What race they are is irrelevant to us." Trump responded that he will meet with the victims' families when asked if he intended to visit the crash site. What is the website? The water? Want to go swimming with me? Asked the president. Diversity initiatives at the FAA are not new. They had been advertised on the agency's website since at least 2013 before Trump's administration took them down this month, including the first term of Trump's presidency. Snapshots from the Internet Archive show that the site used essentially the same text regarding pursuing candidates with impairments during both Biden's and Trump's first terms. In response to claims last year that the agency was giving preference to diversity over eligible applicants, former FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker stated that although the agency looks for talented applicants from a variety of backgrounds, each applicant must meet rigorous qualifications that of course vary by position. Trump's attitude to the plane crash, which was the first significant tragedy of his new administration, was reminiscent of his frequent and contentious briefings on the COVID-19 outbreak. He lost re-election in 2020 as a result of his management of the pandemic, which turned voters against him. Trump led a minute of silence, told the families of the deceased that, "Our hearts are shattered alongside yours," and then went on to make assumptions about what had happened. He stated, "We have some very strong opinions, but we do not know what led to this crash." Trump said that the helicopter was going at an angle that was unbelievably bad. Questioned whether the pilot was using night vision goggles, and said that, "You had a pilot problem." He said, "You can stop a helicopter very quickly," and asked why the Army pilot hadn't altered his direction. He also reflected on the air traffic controllers, stating that, they should have been at a different height, and that, for whatever reason they were at the same elevation with regard to the two planes. The National Transportation Safety Board was more cautious when it started looking into what happened, despite Trump's hasty public speculation on the crash's causes. The board's head, Jennifer Homendy, stated, "We look at facts on our investigation, and that will take some time." Trump's comments on Thursday drew criticism from Democrats. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of New York stated, "It's one thing for online commentators to spread conspiracy theories, but it's another for the President of the United States." Alongside Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth praised his leadership and echoed his worries on recruiting and diversity initiatives. "On the one hand, it means you're not getting the best people in government when you don't have the best standards in who you're hiring," Vance stated, "but on the other hand, it puts stresses on the people who are already there." Duffy was sworn in as Buttigieg's successor on Tuesday, and Trump made it a point to inform him, "It's not your fault." Alongside Trump, Duffy stood at the White House platform and said, "Americans should expect to land at their destination when they take off in airplanes. We will not accept excuses," Duffy continued. For years, federal authorities have voiced concerns about an overburdened and understaffed air traffic control system, particularly in the wake of many near misses at American airports. They have blamed the personnel shortages on factors like competitive pay, hard hours, rigorous training, and mandated retirements. Even though these incidents are extremely uncommon, we cannot ignore the obvious signs of strain in our safety system, Homendy told lawmakers in 2023. Around the same time, aviation experts released a report stating that the FAA need improved technology, equipment, and staffing. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to RIPE News, which gives you access to stories that are relevant to the entire world.